Hello friends, James Stevenson back with part 10 in my Tesla earnings forecast video review series. I'm joined as always by my co-host, Loki, who has so far neglected to eat his breakfast, but will eat it later, I'm sure. He always does. Let's get right back to it and pick up with the next tweet we haven't talked about yet in the forecast review series from my 69 tweet thread. So this one is the one we just looked at, the log scale chart. What's the next tweet? Well, this one is the FSD revenue per vehicle sold chart. We've already talked about this one too. This was in part 3, I believe. So go back and check that one out if you want to hear me talk about this chart. The next tweet is one that we haven't talked about yet. So I captioned this one. Here's a handy resource you can provide to anyone trying to convince you the growth story is over. If their 2023 deliveries forecast doesn't fit in the dashed box, ask them how that can be. If it does, show it to them again after those deliveries get reported. So what are we looking at here? Well, every one of these green bars is showing you actual quarterly deliveries reported by Tesla. And this is the most recently reported quarter, Q1 2023. So what's going to happen next? Well, if you're TSLAQ, you think this was the peak, that there will never be a quarter when Tesla reports more than 422,000 deliveries. It's all going to fall downhill rapidly from here until Tesla declares bankruptcy, right? That's what all the old guard TSLAQ weirdos believe. And I have prepared for you an example of how to use this chart. So we're going to make a hard left turn right now in this video and diverge from the 69 tweet thread. And I'll drag onto my screen here a tweet that I saw from Klaus Muller, who said, I have regrets about Tesla. This is somebody who's been hating hard on Tesla. Hold on, let me roll my Who's Hating Hard on Tesla Today sizzle here, because we have just made this a Who's Hating Hard on Tesla Today episode. Saying he has regrets about Tesla. He says, I may have blocked far too many. I may miss out on too much fun and outcry when Tesla posts quarter-over-quarter decline in units. So here's a guy saying that the growth story is over, demand is going to fall off a cliff, there will never be another quarter where Tesla sells 422,000 vehicles again. I think we're in one of those quarters right now. Tesla's going to sell way more than 420,000 vehicles in Q2 2023, but you can see I ratioed him here. He's got 81 likes on this May 7th tweet. I got 403 likes on my reply here. What's your quarterly Tesla deliveries forecast for the rest of 2023, Klaus? I have taken the liberty of providing you with a worksheet if you find it easier to just draw it in with crayon rather than actually making a forecast. To my knowledge, Klaus doesn't forecast Tesla. He just goes on to public Twitter and makes disparaging remarks about Tesla and its leadership, and puts out wrong tweets with predictions of imminent failure and collapse. So yeah, that's how you use this. If you would like to do the same thing the next time you see somebody on Twitter saying the growth story is over, what was Klaus's reply? He said, only Elon knows how low he will take pricing. Well, how low he would take pricing would increase the number of Teslas sold, right? So that's not arguing in favor of your argument that the growth story is over and the deliveries will never increase. The more Tesla lowers the price, the more people will be able to afford to buy a Tesla, the more Teslas Tesla will sell. I feel like Stephen Mark Ryan right now. But the more Teslas Tesla sells, the more Teslas Tesla sells. Right now, Tesla is demand constrained, Klaus thinks. If they don't keep cutting prices, I find it difficult for them to move any more than 400,000 per quarter average over the rest of this year. So there's your prediction from Klaus. He says Q2 through Q4, the deliveries will average less than 400,000. Can you calculate yourself what total that adds up to? No, you can't calculate what less than 400,000 adds up to because this is a non-specific number. 1 would be a number less than 400,000, so no, I can't total up what that adds up to, Klaus. So I replied, so you're predicting that in the current quarter that we're in right now, Tesla won't even sell 400,000 vehicles. I mean, that's what I thought you would say. It's still funny, though. Still funny to hear Klaus continuing to say the same thing he's been saying for years, which is that it's ridiculous that Tesla will ever sell 1 million vehicles in a year. Well, Tesla did sell more than 1 million vehicles last year. And we've got a screenshot later on that documents one of those times. Here we see another Tesla hater, Brad Munkin, jumping in here. He's hating hard on Tesla today, saying, what are you laughing about? They could do 450,000 and they'd still see margin deterioration. So Brad thinks that even if Tesla sells more cars in Q2, their profit margins are going to get worse. Because, of course, he does. Every year, Brad Munkin predicts that Tesla will make a loss the following year. And for the past 3 years, he's been wrong about that, but he keeps doing it. I replied, you're forecasting Tesla's Q2 profit margin lower sequentially? I mean, I'm not surprised, but still. So I've got 2 haters in this thread, both saying unsurprising things, to me anyway. I mean, they're surprising to any rational person aware of the situation who doesn't know who they are. They would be surprised by these statements. I'm not surprised. Brad says, tell me how margins increase sequentially. Well, do I have to explain rate volume analysis to you, Brad? The more you sell, the better you have economies of scale. These are important business concepts. So the more you can lever increased volume, incremental volume, against your fixed cost base, the better your profit gets. These are important concepts. Please familiarize yourself with them before embarrassing yourself on Twitter. So I replied, no sneak previews for you, Brad. You'll just have to wait for my forecast along with my other followers. I sent these tweets before my forecast went out. Brad said, I don't need your numbers, although I could use a good laugh. Just give me what factors you think will lead to margin increase after a further 6% drop in prices. Well, Tesla has been raising prices since May 7th. Here's one from Klaus Muller. Imagine paying someone for them to make up numbers and use those made-up numbers to buy into a bubble that is already leaking. Well, the last idiot hasn't been born yet, says Klaus. An expert on idiots. That's mostly who he follows on Twitter. If you look at his following, he's got a lot of TSLAQ members he follows and believes what they're tweeting about Tesla. So I replied, imagine changing your bare thesis from no demand for Model 3 or Model Y, no profits ever, saying Tesla was a structurally unprofitable company, but there was no way Tesla could ever make any profit. Too much debt is what Klaus said he was worried about a couple of years ago. So 2020 is the screenshot down here. We'll get to in a minute. Literal hashtag TSLAQ when they default. So his belief was that Tesla was going to declare bankruptcy because they were not going to be able to pay off their debt. And he said the CEO is crazy and that the competition is coming. Just don't ask him who specifically is making a superior electric vehicle ownership experience to Tesla. Don't ask Klaus which automaker is doing everything better than Tesla is. And he has modified his bare thesis from all of these things to just, well, the CEO is still crazy and the competition should be here any minute. Still, just don't ask me who specifically. So let's take a look at the screenshot. April 21st, 2020, Klaus tweeted, it would be easier for you to simply state when Tesla will become profitable, So far, they have lost money every single year, including all the years you list, and since 2012, it's always when the next thing comes, the profitability comes, and then they raise again. So that was what Klaus thought. Somebody tried to correct him. When that year finally arrives, let's say it's 2021, what would you say about Tesla? Is your argument against Tesla really their financial situation, or is it one thing you can easily point out to feel right? Do you have something else you don't like about Tesla as a company? What's the real reason you hate Tesla, Klaus? And Klaus says, if, not when. He thought that it was a huge doubt whether Tesla would ever declare a profitable year. They are now the most profitable automaker in the world on a per delivery basis. And at that time, Tesla, if you throw out like Ferrari, okay, so Ferrari has more profit per vehicle because they're selling vehicles at over a $200,000 price point. So sure, they have more profit per vehicle, but Tesla has more profit dollars than Ferrari does. All right, and at that time, Tesla will have an aging product lineup, an enormous debt to repay, and a CEO that is as crazy as ever. Aging product lineup. Brad likes that argument too. Profits have always been 1 year away and have never materialized. Not going to happen in 2021 either. So Klaus was on record on Twitter publicly claiming Tesla would not declare a profit in 2021. And then Tesla declared $2 earnings per share in 2021 after the splits, right? So before, actually at the time, Tesla had only done one of their two splits. So that was like more than $6 per share of earnings at the time. So that's probably enough of a video for today. So with that, I will check back in with Loki and outro and say, if you've enjoyed today's video, click the like button. If you're not subscribed to my channel already, why not go ahead and subscribe? You can do that on YouTube for free. You can do it on Twitter for 69 cents per week and get early access to all my videos the day that I upload them, and an exclusive subscribers-only series, James and Loki's Gems of the Week, where I go through all the tweets that I liked on Tesla Twitter over the previous week and talk about them. And a special thank you to my executive producers, Kathy Kitchler and Rebellionaire.com, who joined my YouTube channel at the top support tier. And I'll see you in the next one.